Hey Rebs, welcome back. Happy Halloween. I am your host, Erika Dierke.
I'm Max Certuse.
And I'm Mariah Evans.
And I'm Henry Stuart.
Today, as you can see, we are dressed up. I'm Tinkerbell. What about you?
I'm Lane Kiffin, El Presidente.
I am Colt Brennan, former Hawaii quarterback.
And I'm everybody's favorite super person, Superman. Love it. First of all, shout out to our very own Henry Stuart for guessing the score of the game exactly. There was a safety, but then the two-point conversion was missed, and so you were still in the running, and then they managed to hold on to that score till the end, and you're a genius. And everyone on Instagram thinks so.
Yeah, well, I do know ball. Contrary to popular belief, I've gotten some feedback in the YouTube comments saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, you get back to watch this game and you'll see that I know exactly.
I got to say, Henry, I was watching the game with some buddies, and I go, and as soon as that clock, went to zero, I go, wow, my buddy on the show predicted it exactly right. And they're like, what, did he know there was going to be a safety? So that's impressive, man.
Yes, exactly. I can't believe it. That was so exciting.
Really?
What did we think about the Oklahoma game, though? Huge win. Frankly, an unexpected win according to the national media. So what does this mean?
I think it showed adversity. I think that was the biggest thing about this game. You saw a lot of standout players, and I think it was the purpose of what they were playing for that makes this game such a gritty game. All the rumors circulating about Kiffin, which we can talk about later, but I think the biggest thing about this game for me was that it looked like players were playing with grit, passion, and they fought for Kiffin. They wanted to show, they didn't let anything in the media get to their heads, and they didn't let this narrative of, our coach is, not accustomed to this team, that he's going to leave soon. This showed that, they are a team that's worth coaching for.
No, 100%. I mean, I think that this was a phenomenal performance from Ole Miss from front to back. Trinidad Chambliss has a great game, 315 yards, a passing touchdown, 24 out of 44 through the air. Q1 Lacey got in the end zone twice, only had 78 yards. But here's the thing. If I'm Charlie Weiss Jr. and if I'm Lane Kiffin, which I'm dressed up as, so I guess I am Lane Kiffin, I'm ecstatic with these numbers because, yeah, you had your quarterback put up a lot of numbers. He necessarily didn't rush for a lot. Trinidad Chambliss only rushed for 53 yards, but they were getting into the end zone. And against literally the top-ranked defense in the country, Ole Miss continued to find ways to score, and that to me is the mark of a truly great team. You're willing to cast aside your own personal stats and focus purely on the good of the team and getting into the end zone and putting your team in a position to win. That's exactly what they did. Phenomenal performance from front to back.
Yeah, I'm most impressed with Trinidad. I think we say this every week, and every week I'm more and more impressed by him. He really had a bounce-back game after the rough outing we had up in Georgia, and I think his was just him saying, I'm still in the running for the Heisman, clearly. He had a clean pocket passing grade and against an Oklahoma skilled pass rush, too, and I think that's very impressive for him. I was kind of right. I said he was going to get sacked twice. He got sacked once. But I was kind of right, but that's all.
I was impressed with defensively, especially Principal Monmielen and William Eccles. They really, really stood out to me personally.
Yes, absolutely. Shout outs to Cam Franklin as well, recording a sack. Prince Will had 1.5. His older brother Princely had 2.5 last year against the Sooners here in Oxford. But, Cam Franklin came up with a sack as well. And, obviously Prince Will gets that safety. I talked about it on the show last week about how Ole Miss really needed to go after John Mateer and harass the quarterback, really dial up the pressure and get after him. And that's exactly what Ole Miss did. And John Mateer was flustered all game. He's looking for the deep balls. He's making bad reads and, he's making throws that, he goes for the deep ball on, 4th and short. He's got a wide open jag route to Isaiah Satania, easily his best wide receiver. He takes a deep shot, 50-50 ball in the end zone, broken up on 4th down right before the 2-minute timeout, gets knocked away incomplete. Ole Miss gets the ball back. That helps seal the game. So I think Ole Miss's pass rush really got to John Mateer and had him flustered. That's exactly what I said they needed to do last week. They did it, and it proved to pay out dividends on Saturday.
Yeah, I totally agree. Another player, in my opinion, that had a great stand-up performance was Winnie Watkins. He had 4 receptions, 111 receiving yards. He really stepped it up too, because not that there's been any difficulty on the passing side of the ball, but what I love about this Ole Miss offense is that they're very dynamic with their receiving core, and I think that was something awesome to see is Winnie Watkins going out there, and obviously Trace Buckler too, tight end, who we could talk about later, obviously. But no, it's really cool to see how the individual players on this team are expressing that they are a talented team and not just a well-coached team. I think this offense especially is now not only, we talked about finding an identity early in the season, but now this offense has fully taken control of their identity, and now they're making sure that it is a statement on paper after these games that they are not somebody to be messed with.
I don't know. I'm looking at, can they take on teams like Texas A&M? Because Texas A&M is shaping up to be a bad team after watching them beat up on LSU. That was disrespectful. But I'm trying to see if this team could go against Texas A&M, teams like that are up in the upper echelon of teams. So that's it.
We don't have to right now. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I'm happy about is that, like, and this might not necessarily be good for our, playoff prospects, but right now, as we're in the regular season, we don't have an opponent that is really scary anymore. Like, those were the two. The away games, Georgia, Oklahoma, like, that's kind of at least what I had circled on my calendar. And now that those are out of the way, coming out 1-1, I think that that's really big, and I mean, we've all but clinched a playoff spot. Knock on wood. I mean, it's not over till it's over. Anything can happen. It's SEC, any given Saturday, all of that. But I think taking those wins on the road is so big because now we have these 3 home games against, okay opponents, and then an away game in Mississippi. So I just think at least for the rest of the regular season, we're looking really, really strong.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Mississippi State strongly. Everybody knows rivalry games bring out the best in people, so I'm trying to see how them cowbells going to affect everybody.
Yeah. Don't get Kip inserted on Mississippi State.
It'll be interesting to see, though. I think something that, Henry, we talked about last week was questioning Mateer's ability to throw the ball this week. Yes. I still personally don't think that Mateer was at full recovery and as great as he could have been. Now that's something that I wanted to talk to you about, and because we were both talking about that a lot last week. Do you think that they are still well prepared to finish out the season and to go into the playoffs, not having faced an opponent with such a high caliber quarterback like Prime Mateer could have been?
Yeah, I think they're still in a pretty good shape to succeed throughout the regular season. Oklahoma, they travel to Neyland Stadium this weekend to take on Tennessee, and I think Oklahoma wins that game. Mm-hmm. You've certainly know my opinions on Tennessee. I don't think they're a good football team, but Oklahoma is still a very good football team. Right. And Oklahoma's defense is going to wreak havoc on Joey Aguilar, throwing at least 2 interceptions because that's what he always does. You can call him Money Joey all you want to, but if he's going to throw you interceptions and he's going to lose you ball games. So I think Oklahoma is still a very good football team. Mateer is only getting better. He made some good throws. He necessarily didn't make the right reads at times, sure, but I chalk that up more to it being a high-pressure game, facing a really, really potent pass rush. Yeah. And Tennessee does not have that. And they've got Tennessee's secondary is woefully they're terrible, straight up. So I think Oklahoma is in a really good shape for this weekend and for the rest of the season to be able to finish on a high note.
Yeah, I think even though John Mateer isn't at full strength, I think it's still a really strong win, but I agree with kind of what you're getting at, that like they're just going to keep getting better and our opponents are just going to keep getting worse. What does this mean for the Texas A&M's, the Oklahoma, like teams that we might be facing in the postseason?
No, for sure. Also, offense and defense aside, I jokingly refer to it in the weeks past, but I want to talk about the special teams unit and how it is just becoming an absolutely unstoppable force, and they make the big plays. That's what I love about football, special teams. I want to point out Lucas Carnero, our kicker, absolutely phenomenal. He's becoming a top-rated kicker in college football right now. He's been perfect on extra points, 27 of 27, I believe. And of course, and we already highlighted him in our interview with him, Erika, but Oscar Bird has just been almost perfect with the punts, and not even perfect as in doing what you need to get done. He does then some. He has been going above and beyond, and he is definitely one of those next-level caliber punters. And I really like to see the special teams unit is becoming extremely effective on our game and not just being get the job done, but do more.
Yeah, no, I mean, I watched tape, on Lucas Carnero. He's from Concord, North Carolina. That's a suburb of Charlotte. That's right up Interstate 85 for me. So shout out to the 704. Oh, wow. But no, I mean, I was looking at him and watching tape. And I was like, oh my goodness, this kid has got a rocket launcher for a leg. And he's accurate too. He's only missed 2 field goals all season, has not missed an extra point. And there was worry with that last year with Caden Davis. With Lucas Carnero lining up to take a kick, I'm not worried. I know he's going to make it. He's automatic, just plain and simple. So it's a huge sigh of relief that this coaching staff really went out and got themselves a heck of a place kicker and an absolutely terrific punter. Oscar Bird, I mean, obviously I am biased, clear favorite to win the Ray Guy Award, which goes to the nation's best punter every year. He has been on another level. Doesn't even have to punt that much because we've got such a good offense. But when he goes out there, he sets our defense up in a terrific position.
Absolutely, yeah.
What do you think?
I think this is just a team, after talking to Trace, it's a team that's willing to get in any position that they have to. I think the coaches, like he said, he's able to get into different positions if they need him on offense, special teams. Every player has expressed that they'll do whatever the coaches need them to do. It's not a selfish team. It's a team that wants to see everybody succeed. And so I think that even goes to their special teams, and that's something I like to see.
All right. Well, we're going to talk a lot about Trace Bruckler.
Yeah.
Bruckler. After the break, as well as get into a little bit with what's going on with Lane Kiffin over here. We'll be right back.
It's that time of the year again, fellas. When the mornings are hot, the afternoons are hotter, and football is on its way back. Now, games is won by the battles fought in August. Yeah. Everyone that's not revered as an Ole Miss legend has been in your shoes before, trying to survive that Mississippi heat, competing for a spot, and knowing the sacrifice that it takes to make it in this league. You go into this money collection of men from 100 different places, and if you work, you emerge from it as one team with one goal and one heartbeat. The SEC awaits you. And if they don't know who you are now, they will soon.
The dynamic freshman is starting to make his impact.
Dagger with the shot clock down to 1.
That 3-ball drops for Jamin Brakefield. And Fagan from the corner with a triple. Burrell for 3, that's a big response. 3-ball, yes. Biss shooting lights out at the pavilion.
Give him one more.
Wow. You can't teach that. Well, that should give Ole Miss a boost.
Welcome back. So Ole Miss has kind of been in a little bit of a off-the-field controversy right now. There is a lot of coaching shakeups going on, especially in the SEC, but all over college football. And Lane Kiffin has really been in the forefront of it. We're seeing a lot of numbers. We're seeing a lot of quotes, but we're not getting a lot of straight-up answers. So what do we think he's going to do? What are you going to do?
As he was hollering at the end of the game last week, I'm not leaving, and I don't think Lane Kiffin's leaving. You don't spend 5 years now in a place and have your daughter go to the school you're coaching at, have your son, become the heir to the throne of one of the powerhouses of Mississippi high school football, Oxford High School, to just up and leave when you get a better opportunity. Ole Miss was a dumpster fire, plain and simple, when Lane Kiffin got here. They hadn't had a winning record since 2017. The things Lane Kiffin has been able to accomplish at Ole Miss is unbelievable, and he's had opportunities to leave for greener pastures. He stayed put. I don't think this year's anything different. I think he's staying put. You don't spend the time, the effort, the money, everything in a place like this to just up and leave when somebody else comes calling.
Yeah, I think there's a couple points of emphasis to kind of offer as devil's advocate, right? For one, there was the release in the media that when he addressed the team, he didn't say anything specific. He said, this only means that, we're winning. It's good that people are talking about us because we're winning. Now, if I'm 100% surefire of my team, I'm not saying that. Now, granted, I think it's important to say as a side note that, I don't really think it's important to give into any of this stuff. If you want to focus on the team right now, then don't worry about the coaching or worry about, in the moment, and then whatever happens, happens. But you also say that he has had opportunities to go to greener pastures. I like how you said that. But this is a big market for college coaching right now. There are a lot of schools that have, big name schools with positions open. So I think, and again, I'm not really saying that he will do something or won't do something because, that's really, obviously there's so much that goes into that. Him, his family, his goals, his aspirations. But if he wanted to go to Florida and wanted to go to LSU and you talk about how he turned this program around, he could easily turn another great program around. I think he has that ability. So I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility that he leaves. I think what he's done at Ole Miss, like you said, is phenomenal. I think the other additional coaches that he's brought to Ole Miss with him have also helped make an extreme difference. He's elevated everybody around him, but he's also just recruited a staff of amazing coaches. He is a winning coach, and that's been obvious. And I also kind of think that stems from the Saban era. I think a lot of these guys that played under Saban talk about Kirby Smart, Lane Kiffin. I think you can kind of see this. So I think it's going to be an interesting conversation to have, but not right now.
I don't think so.
And I'm gonna let you
go.
I do think it is important to talk about because I think it's likely having an effect on the locker room. So that's why I think I just think that this whole thing like floating around like could be pertinent, not just to fans, but like it could be having an effect. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I'm gonna make it short and sweet. I don't think he's leaving this season. You got a maid here. They're gonna do what you want. If he say we need to go out and get this player, we going out and get that player. He got kids down here. He done got his hot yoga studio down here. I mean, he gonna stay, I think.
You said he has it made here?
He does.
I thought you said he had a maid here, and I said, well, you can just find one of those anywhere.
No.
Yeah.
Well, you look so confused.
You're my accent. You can't never understand anything.
Okay.
Wow.
We are a Southeastern Conference school, so he has to get used to your accent.
Yes.
I actually think he might leave. I think there's, 81 million reasons to leave? Like, I know he said he doesn't care about money.
All right, never mind. I take it back. Money.
I wouldn't be surprised, is what I'm saying. It's like, I don't, it's not up to the common folk to say what he's going to do, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did leave.
I would want him to go to Alabama more, even though they do have a good coach right now. I would want him to go there more than LSU or Florida.
I think he would shine at Florida, honestly. You know what we talked about? I think John Summerall would be good at LSU.
I agree.
I don't think they'll hire him.
John Gruden. I want John Gruden to coach.
If they pay me $50 million, I'll go down there and coach.
I'm ready. I'm ready to.
I don't know about that, but
You're right. Let's get back to on the field stuff. I would love to get into the interview that you two had with Trace Bruckner.
Yes, Bruckner.
Bruckler.
Sorry.
Trace Bruckler. See, and the reason that I don't even know for sure how to pronounce his name is because he has not been getting a lot of playing time, and yet he comes into this Oklahoma game and absolutely shines, has a really great game. So it was awesome that you guys got the chance to talk to him, and we're going to take a look at that right now.
Trace, you've had maybe some limited snaps so far this season. Kind of take me through the impact, for you personally, scoring that touchdown for you, like emotionally and personally, what that meant to you as a senior.
I'm just trying to find my role, whether that's offense, special teams. I'm just doing what the coaches ask me. So to be able to make, obviously, the go-ahead touchdown and then a drive later make the forced fumble to get the ball back, it was a great feeling. But ultimately, I knew the game wasn't over, so I just stayed the course and did my job.
Kind of, you had the essentially the game-winning forced fumble on Isaiah Satania on that punt return, kind of late there in the fourth quarter. Kind of take me through like your mentality. Like, were you thinking I'm just going to go out here and make a play, or did it just kind of happen?
Like, if they would have got a big punt return, it would have been a big play for them. So I was trying to stop that. I knew he was a dangerous guy. We talked about it all week. We got to kind of lock this guy up. I saw him coming right at me, and I was like, I'm just gonna hit this guy. Like, why not? He's coming right at me. I'm coming at him. So I ended up just throwing my shoulder in there, getting the ball out, and making a big play for my team.
Heading into this week, what's something that you see that's special about South Carolina's defense, special teams, or anything like that on the film?
They have a great defense. It's the reason why, they're in a lot of games. They played Alabama tight last week. Alabama has a great offense. So I think South Carolina's defense is really good. One of the top in the SEC, so we can't take any game lightly, especially this one. But really just stick to us, do our game plan, follow our game plan, and we'll be good.
Being a Swiss Army knife, that's what I'm going to call you from now on. Yeah. Is there anybody that you model your game after?
Yeah, I like to look at Kyle Juszczyk of the 49ers, just a do-it-all guy. There's a ton of guys in the NFL like that, and that's why they're there, because they have that mindset of whatever these guys ask me to do, I'm not going to fuss about it. I'm just going to put my head down and do it, and that's kind of the mindset I take on.
Kind of take me through that culture shock, and if there was one coming from, Albuquerque to Oxford, Mississippi.
I played in SEC games before. I played at Death Valley. I played at Texas A&M, but it's different, running out there, and that's your home crowd. You got 70,000 people cheering for you. Like, this is what I dreamed of as a kid, and my first college game was actually at Kyle Field against Texas A&M. I was like, man, I want to do this. Like, I want to play for one of these teams, and make a big play and hear that roar for me, So ultimately, like you said, I'm in the upper echelon SEC playing and just living out my dreams. It's awesome.
Was there a specific player, whether it was in New Mexico or whether it was here, that has played like a role in your development and you kind of came to and, had a mentorship with?
I mean, I looked up to, it wasn't in my position room, but I did look up to Jarek Reed. He's on the Seattle Seahawks. Just the way he approached things, having that pro mindset, seeing those guys and their mindsets. I was like, man, like that's the way you get in, and that's how if I want to get there, I have to have that same mindset. Obviously, the guys here, Daquan, Luke, they have a great mindset, but really just Coach Cox has like, I look up to him as just like such a great offensive mind, and just the way he coaches us is very, very elite.
What would be the key to walking out with a win this Saturday?
Just playing our game, focusing on us tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday in our preparation. Now, we want a big game, but every game is a big game. You know, Coach Cox says you're in the playoffs right now. You know, because there's a lot of distractions in the month of November about college football playoffs here. Like, so many people are using their predictions and their brackets and stuff, and that can kind of draw your mind away. Because you know you're in the SEC. Any team can beat anybody. You know, so all we just got to do is just focus on us, our preparation, and we'll be good.
Thank you so much for speaking with us, Trace. It was a great opportunity and really exciting to talk to him right after such an exciting game for him. If you want to see the entire interview, it is much longer and they get into a lot more stuff about the game. So if you're interested in that, that'll be on YouTube right now. We will be talking about the upcoming game against South Carolina right after the break. See you then.
My passion is journalism. Here at the University of Mississippi, we produce a nightly half-hour newscast, broadcasting regionally on cable and globally on the World Wide Web. It's the kind of experience that is preparing me to walk into any news station in the country with the skills and abilities I need to succeed. So it's not just preparing me for the real world, it is the real world.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We are Rebels. For more than 160 years, we've been accomplishing the impossible, from conducting the world's first lung transplant to helping prove Einstein was right. From preserving the past to saving the future. We are Mississippi's flagship university, a place where passion and learning unite, where friends become family, where small-town charm meets world-class innovation. We are the University of Mississippi. We are Ole Miss.
All right, upcoming game against South Carolina. What are our predictions? 3, 2, 1. Hey.
Clean sweep.
Clean sweep. All right. I'll just go first and say this is obviously a trap game. In my opinion, it's giving kind of like the Kentucky game last year. And it's similar vibes, similar teams to me. Also, like what we just talked about last week about kind of the outside, not box score things of football, how Ole Miss had just come off of a tough loss. I mean, talk about the game against Alabama last week. So they're going to be, coming in hot, fire in their belly. I think this is definitely a game that hopefully it's not taken for granted and they look out for this team, which it sounds like they're doing. What do we think?
Yeah, South Carolina is a talented football team. They just played probably one of the roughest stretches of conference play I think I've ever seen, affectionately called Cocktober on social media, at LSU and then home against Oklahoma and Alabama. So they just went through it. They just had to run the absolute gauntlet, and some poor decision-making down the stretch ultimately cost them that Alabama game. They absolutely could have won that game. But yeah, this is a legitimately solid South Carolina team. They've got the 13th ranked defense in the country. So this is gonna be a tough game for Ole Miss. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This is not a pushover team for Ole Miss in the slightest.
Yeah, I saw a little this isn't mine, but I saw a transition from the Cocktober to now Crowvember. That's what they're calling it. But I think it's going to be interesting to see. They're better than the record shows. That is completely evident. They are better than the record shows. That Alabama game should have been theirs. Again, the beauty of football struck, and Alabama was able to pull it back together. Yeah. But it's going to be an interesting game. I still have Ole Miss because I think that we've shown that, at our worst, we're still better than South Carolina. There's even a phrase that the military uses is like when you sink to the level of your training or something when you sink to your lowest, you're always going to be the best at what your training was. And I think Ole Miss is just fundamentally very sound. So I don't think even if something goes bad that we're going to lose. But this is a game to be prepared for and not to take anything lightly.
Yes.
Ole Miss defense must contain Lenore Sellers. That's my whole thing. They did great against John Mateer, a mobile quarterback, but he's been hurt. But Taylor Green was my big example. You got to contain him. You got to keep him in that pocket. But I do think Ole Miss wins because South Carolina's secondary is just going to have a trouble just keeping up with Ole Miss high-power offense. And I think my score is 34-16.
34-16, okay. I am going to take 31-10.
Okay.
I think that we're able to contain them because I don't think their offense is good at all. Like, I agree. I think they're better than their record shows, and I think that they're going to be trouble. But I think that they don't have a lot of great receiving options. I don't think their offense is that good. I think that they're
Not a lot of receiving options.
We're just going to go ahead and breeze over Nick Harbor, the 6'5", 235-pounder that ran a top 10
We just talked about the versatility on Ole Miss. I think we just have so much more depth than them. I just think we have so many more options. I think
Depth is one thing, talent is another. But I agree. I do think. I think South Carolina is a talented team.
Yeah. Nick Harbor is 6'5", 235 pounds, and he ran a 10-second 100-yard dash.
Well, why do you keep losing all these games?
That's awesome. That's great.
Do you understand how fast that is?
I do understand how fast that is.
I could beat it.
Do you understand that,
Let's set that up. Yes.
Ole Miss's secondary has struggled at times against faster receivers, so having someone with the frame of almost a tight end that can run that fast, that's cause to be
What's the
concerned.
score?
Someone who else should we be worried about?
To Erica's point, I think they have talent, but I think what Erica is saying is depth. I think Ole Miss beats them for sure. I think there is more depth with our receiving core.
Yes.
But I do think there are definitely players that you can't count out. But I do see, to Erica's point, I think we have a more deep receiving core.
100%.
Yeah.
That is kind of my point. I just think that that is my point. I also think that their offense is just nowhere near as good as ours. And I think that our defense has really been stepping up as well, at the same time as me thinking their offense is not that impressive.
Okay. Yeah, and I think only thing I'm impressed about with South Carolina is probably their defense. Brian Thompson and Dylan Stewart. I think Trinidad is really going to have to worry about them, and that's about it. I am with Erika because we do have more depth coming out. Every other week it feels like it's somebody new on the team stepping up. You got Winnie Watkins, I think that's right. Trace and all these other people. Every week is somebody new that's doing something different. So that's why I'm with Erika.
No, I totally agree with you. Ole Miss absolutely has the more talented wide receiver room. I'm just saying don't count out South Carolina's offense. The main reason this team has struggled so much is not a lack of talent. It's bad coaching. Mike Shula, there have been protests on USC's campus over him as offensive coordinator. They are chanting "Fire Shula" at games. So I think this is more just South Carolina shooting themselves in the foot more than it's just a lack of talent. They definitely do have talent, but Ole Miss absolutely is the more talented team. I'm just saying don't count out South Carolina's talent just because Ole Miss is better.
You like to name players. Who should I be worried about then besides Harbor?
It's not who, it's what. And in this situation, it's the special teams unit. I would love to talk about it, but just to stay consistent. Score prediction. We didn't hear from you.
Oh, yeah, that is true. I'm going either 38-24 or 31-27.
Okay, I got 28-17, and you said we don't have time for it. I think we do. Joe DeCamilis, the special teams coordinator, had an extremely successful career in the NFL. They do all-out punt blocks, random onsides. They have extreme confidence in their special teams. This is such a fun special teams unit to watch. They will do whatever, and you don't know when it's going to happen. That's what I love about the special teams unit. And I think that's what's going to, you saw it against Alabama. That's when you don't expect it, the jab and the jab again. In the right hook. That's the special teams unit.
Rocky.
I'm extremely excited. They had an elite special teams unit. I also want to compare this game, minus the special team stuff, to Florida last year, where we went in thinking that we had it made and then we didn't. So this late in the season, you can still slip up, and special teams, I think, is going to contribute to that potential thing happening.
Thank you.
And we're just going to have to find out because as much fun as I have been having on this Halloween show, we are fresh out of time. So I have been your host, Erika Dierke.
Max Certuse.
I'm Mariah Evans.
And I'm Henry Stuart, a.k.a. Lynn Kiffin.
Thank you so much for watching. Happy Halloween and howdy toddy. We'll see you guys next time.
Go Rebs.